Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help people stop acting too rude and sketchy to respect each other and communicate well. Instead, act like nice, polite ladies and gents, teaching kids who look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss and share online info offline as nice, helpful people making better people and places to live. So check out manfulwars.com for more on that. And on that, this video is related. This video is called How Raptors Fans and Patriots Can Save Polite Canadians Who Save Canada. How Raptors fans and Patriots can save polite Canadians who save Canada. It's currently just before the start of the NBA Finals in 2019, and there's a ton of energy around the Raptors in Toronto and across Canada. It's really uniting people. After the Saturday night Game 6 victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, there was thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people in the streets that were celebrating, partying, uniting with each other, and so on. And so it's a great time to be alive, and it's something that everybody is interested in. Either you are interested in it, or you definitely want to jump on the bandwagon because it's a great way to connect people. So for Raptors fans and Patriots out there, this is a great chance to connect Patriots and Raptors fans and save polite Canadians who can save Canada. Because ultimately, if we're not polite Canadians, then what the hell are we? And if we don't act polite and we don't act nice enough to talk, then what the hell will we do, especially offline? And this was inspired by a couple of things I'll share, and then I'll get into how this can happen and how we can have great people in a great place to live, as opposed to being worried about it and then distracted by something fun and then worried and distracted and so on, which is not necessarily the best way to live when things could be getting better or worse depending on what we do. And this is partly inspired by Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia. He's been following the Toronto Raptors since 1995 for the last 25 years. He's never missed a game. He's a very famous Sikh guy, and he had an appearance on CBC News the other day. I was watching some of this in my feed. I'm a Raptors and NBA fan as well. When I'm not doing patriotic stuff or other work stuff or whatever, I do love my NBA junk food, and it's a great time to be an NBA fan and a Raptors fan with the league doing well and the Raptors doing fantastically in the finals. So here's a video from the CBC News from May 28th, 2019. Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia to get louder in the NBA Finals. And here he explains how basketball unites people and how as Patriots, who are trying to do that in our own ways, we can kind of use some of the success and some of the great feelings people have about it to help connect people with issues bigger than them, including each other and where they live. Besides just watching sports, which can be fun, we can sort of piggyback on that, and I'll explain more why. But first, here is the video. Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia says to get louder in the NBA Finals. And here's what he says about basketball.
That you have with the team, but also what it says about Toronto and how it's embraced basketball.
Yes, you know what? I have a relationship with the team. I have a relationship with also the opposing team all the time. Yes. Because to me, basketball is something which can unite us together. And for 48 minutes, we are going to be competing with Golden State. But before the game and after the game, we are brothers and we are all together in that. So that's why I love ballers. Everybody knows in the league, all the opposing teams, the coaches and everybody, I love basketball. And I'm using this game of basketball to bring everybody together. And that's what all life is about. And this tweet, I believe that we were able to change into positive. And I have told the guy that next time I'm in Milwaukee, I want to take him for a dinner.
Oh, that is so fantastic. Look at you. Okay, now I want to talk about 95, because this goes back to 95, the inaugural season when you got your tickets. In case anyone doesn't know your story, how many games have you missed over the 24 seasons?
Well, I have never been late for a game. I have never left a game early. And I have never missed a minute of the Raptors game in Toronto.
In Toronto since 1995.
Since 95, from the very first day at Skydome.
So you have been with it when we had Leo Routens in earlier. He's been there from the start.
So he goes on to talk, and I'll post a link to this below. He goes on to talk about being a longtime fan, fantastic since 1995, how it's bringing the whole country together, how Canada's like a paradise on earth, and so on. And it's a great little clip with great Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia. So partly inspired by that. This video is also partly inspired by my own efforts at manforwars.com, especially since 2011, where guys kind of brainwashed, normal guys, not Twinkie guys trying to be girly gay guys, or guys taking being a trans guy seriously, but normal guys started sexually harassing each other like pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy girlfriends. Hey, look at me, force you to look at me, force you to put up with me, look at me play with my hair, look at me kind of act rude and sketchy near you, feel sorry for myself, like a pretend ball-busting, bitchy, sketchy girl, or like, look at me, look at part of my body, even though I'm not trying to take being a girl seriously, just force you to look at me anyway. And when they wouldn't look at each other, they started jealously harassing girls. They'd follow girls around, try to trick guys into looking at them like they're an actual girl, taking it seriously, or even a guy trying to be a girl seriously with makeup and dress or whatever. But they were just normal guys, about 5 to 10% in 2011. And then that got worse, and then it was 20-30% in 2012, and I stopped it in Toronto by making a big stink, and everybody else was fine, and people sort of could ignore each other acting sketchy, and it's like, you know, I made a big stink. And you can see manforwars.com, the history section on this, because I don't mind if a guy's being an idiot. I just typically ignored it. I've ignored it for the last 8+ years, and other people are really happy to know that we can be nice to each other. It's safe to be nice to each other. Or they're typically lying bitches begging to be broken who get off on either busting a guy's balls and forcing someone to put up with them, or get off on being ignored acting stupid. And that's typically like a pretend lying bitchy sketchy old wife or girlfriend that's just busting your balls for no reason, worked up, making you both uncomfortable, and, you know, is either stuck suffering with you to the point where you can barely pay attention to or communicate with each other. Why would you? And you just are both quiet and uncomfortable. Or they get off and being ignored. And I've got tons of video evidence of this over the last couple of years as well. So at manforwars.com, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, as it's getting worse. You know, I've been videotaping it for the last couple of years as well. And inside the Eaton Centre, inside the Bay Street, Toronto Financial District, inside near Yonge and College, outside, King Street West, Dundas Square, everywhere, nobody minds if somebody helps people be polite. So even if it's normal to be like, hey, put up with me, how's it going? Hey, put up with me, how's it going? Hey, oh, I ran fast, I forced you to look at me. Oh, what? What are you going to do? I'm passive-aggressive, lying, bitchy, cry bully. Well, I just get embarrassed and lie and argue and make it uncomfortable or whatever, right? Even if people are doing that, where guys do that to each other, and then they jealously do that to girls, and then they break the girls, and then guys, girls, and kids all do that to each other, to the point where we're sort of turning into the same kind of rude, sketchy zombies who have trouble respecting each other and just wander around looking for nice, happy people who can talk to attack and turn them into zombies because they're worth bothering. Unless you're already bothering people like that, you'll be attacked by someone who is, after they can't get along with people they know, and then they bother strangers like poor crazy homeless people as well. As part of this brainwashing, you know, I've been documenting the last couple of years, and everybody likes it. Everybody likes the fact that someone's trying to help people be polite in Toronto, Canada, among lots of diverse groups. Either you have self-respect, you don't lose yours, or take anybody else's. You used to be able to look away and people would get embarrassed and stop, or other people would get embarrassed and they'd stop, or they'd get embarrassed and run away. But now when it becomes mostly what people do and what they take more seriously than themselves or anything else, I've got to hold up a newspaper, hold up a manforwars.com sign in case people want to see it and try and help stop it or whatever, and I just ignore it. And other people around are super nice. Other Canadians are super nice, super happy to be nice. They're like, wait a minute. So you've got your toque low, your sunglasses, you're ignoring this person, worked up, bothering strangers, obviously can't get along well with people they know, and so bother strangers. And you're not going to do that, and you don't put up with it? Okay, so it's safe to be nice. So then guys are nice to you, girls are nice to you, or people try and get away with it. They like forcing people who don't like it to see them look ugly and sketchy until you don't like them, and then they kind of mostly do that when they can't normally show and get respect, and they make everyone else put up with and act like that. despite all that going on, a lot of people are happy to know it's safe to be nice, even with somebody who's acting a little weird. Polite, but weird, right? I'm ignoring this person, ignoring that person, toques low, sunglasses on, and this and that. And then I get to the front of the line at a store or something, and the person there is like, okay, I'll be nice to you. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? And super nice to each other, right? And I've also filmed this with my 17-inch laptop and webcam going on for 2.5 hours or several hours here and there. People are generally in favor of people being polite. Lots of different disagreements on different things as well. Liberal, conservative, straight, LGBT, whatever, black, white, whatever. But being polite, being nice is something that even if people aren't, and even if people fashionably go along with not being nice, they are still interested in that as something that people try and save. That's why at manforwars.com, I'd like to get paid some money to sort of push these ideas and take my efforts mainstream. However, since people have trouble talking about this, even if it's happening right in front of them, right near them, even if it's hundreds or thousands of people doing the same thing, people have trouble talking about it and discussing it in any detail. I typically, document it and otherwise try not to bother people or be bothered about it. I just politely ignore it and focus on something else with somebody when we're nice to each other and we respect each other. So this is the brainwashing. This is the best brainwashing in history. Best in class 21st century brainwashing. It is, the latest point in history, and so obviously the brainwashing would be amazing. I've been around civilians. I've been around patriots. I've even discussed this with an older guy, patriot, who was understanding that, people aren't as nice as they used to be, right? But then when people are running up towards me being a nice guy, talking about being a nice guy, and people want to attack nice people like a bitchy, sketchy, pretend wife or girlfriend zombie and force you to put up with them or see them look ugly, even as I was saying that, I was explaining to the guy, people can't talk about this. See this happening like 3 feet away from us? Like this person worked up and spazzing out and trying to force me to see them, play with their hair or get worked up or whatever. They can't talk about that. That's happening like 3 feet away from what you and I having this conversation. And he was like, yeah, and other patriots as well. Even they have trouble talking about it because you're supposed to be so fashionably allowing people to act rude and sketchy, right? Guys will fight harder to act like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls than they will to act like men. And then once they're in that mode and they sexually harass each other and jealously harass real girls and they make everyone act like and put up with them, that's where we all turn into the same zombies, right? And anyway, so despite all that, I've had security guards come up to me and say, hey, what are you up to with your laptop? And your police officers come up to me and I'm like, oh, I'm promoting polite patriotism. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I think Canadians should be nice and polite and teach kids to be so we can look, talk, and feel great about fun or serious stuff. So we're just generally better people to hang out with. And then if something serious happens or we've got to discuss the October 2019 election or, immigration policy or the economy or whatever, we can do that well as well. And they're like, okay, good job, keep it up, or keep it down a little bit. There's people around, or, well, cool, no problem. It's fine. It's always fine. Right? People are always fine with it, right? And the ratios of just, 5 to 10% of guys, doing it, several years ago, and then people not wanting to talk about it, not wanting to whatever about it, to 20 to 30%, to breaking the girls, to the girls starting to do it. For thousands of years, they had many slow speeds to share. If you were a nice guy and they thought you were cool and you were acting like a man, they would be nice and move slower and take the edge off, and then you would be a nicer to a nice girl, and you could put each other in a good mood that way. Now they start speeding up and forcing you to put up with them, and so there's no nice, attractive, good-looking guys left. There's no nice, attractive, good-looking girls left. There's no nice, attractive, good-looking kids left, and if there are, they're attacked by somebody worked up and bothering nice people until they're worked up and bothering people too, right? So despite all that going on, basketball is not the only thing that unites Canadians. Being polite is something that can unite Canadians. And if we push that, then that can push beyond, oh, well, I'm a conservative. It's like, well, okay, do you still want people to be nice and treat you well, and you want to be able to treat people well, and you want to show and get respect, so you have self-respect, and you feel responsible and fulfilled? Live in a nice place with nice people instead of going to hell? Yeah, sure. I'm a liberal. I'm a liberal. Okay, fine. Do you still want people to be nice, right? I even had a great conversation at a Canadian nationalist Pegida rally when I was on that side of things with two cute little white Antifa girls. I've got one on video. It's up on my BitChute YouTube channel. And I've got another one which happened beside me, but there was a bunch of people around. And there was two cute little white Antifa girls who came up to me and sized me up and went, you know what? You're not a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly guy. You're actually good at being a man, so I'll try and be good at being a woman. And even if we disagree, we can be friendly with each other and talk about, what our issues are. So these were Antifa girls dressed in black on that side of things, or Antifa-affiliated girls who were on the Antifa, liberal, left-wing, radical left protest, open borders side of things. I was on the Canadian nationalist side of things, but with my manforwars.com sign, guy holding up a girl, little Fight Club sign in the corner, manforwars.com, relax. And with the way I carry myself, those two Antifa girls could talk to a conservative nationalist like myself from the left-wing perspective and be nice to me while I was nice to them, while we disagreed with each other's opinions, but we respected each other and evolved our opinions. And we even joked around. They were like, well, we have better music than you. I was like, I totally agree. You have better music than us. You Antifa people and the left-wing people have got some good, cool beats. We're a little bit quieter. We don't bring cool music. You're absolutely right. Or we were talking about open borders. Well, I'm not so sure about open borders. And she was like, well, I see your point. And I was like, no, I see your point. You're trying to be nice to people, and that's your way. And so we could communicate well with each other as long as we were polite. And that's why it's being attacked so much. The communists did the same thing. They killed 100 million people in the 20th century this way. They attacked gender, so everyone was comrade, no more men, women, family not important, state important, no more nice guys, girls, empower each other. Everyone shut up, anti-free speech zombie. Anybody differ? You bitch, you competitively bitch. Everyone bitch. You don't understand how everything sucks until we have to destroy it and replace it with communist revolution. Then we will attack you, censor you, arrest you, kill you, right? The communists did the same thing to kill 100 million people. And then there were nice, smart, happy, successful, good-looking people who could talk, and they were all attacked by the commie zombies and censored, arrested, and killed. They were either switched or they were snitched on, censored, arrested, or killed. So it's the same thing happening today, offline in particular, right? And so despite all that, what Patriots can do is Patriots can connect with excited Raptors fans, Canadians who either are Raptors fans or know they should be Raptors fans, or are bandwagon Raptors fans, or are generally supportive of the Raptors doing well, the Toronto Raptors basketball team, and making fellow Canadians happy. Patriots can connect with them because the best time to connect with people, not like-minded people online who kind of think the same in little censored digital ghettos where people talk to each other and kind of blow off steam and bitch. It can have a positive effect as people consistently empower and update each other and hopefully create more people, but it can also just be a way of blowing off steam as opposed to connecting with others. The best way to connect with others is when the mass media makes everyone interested in certain topics that they're all supposed to discuss. They're all supposed to know about and discuss. For example, years ago when I was with a group called Toronto Truth Seekers, there was the H1N1 pandemic scare, where there was a bird flu, swine flu scare, something like that. And my colleagues and I were at Dundas Square in downtown Toronto, Canada, with a nice meet and greet table, about 15, 20 of us every Saturday for 3-4 hours. And we were politely getting along with each other and politely interacting with people who interacted with us. And we were giving out thousands of vaccine exemption forms to grateful parents who are coming from all across the greater Toronto area, an hour outside Toronto, coming up to us going, hey, are you the guys with the vaccine exemption forms? Yeah, I'll take 2, please, thanks. We're giving out all these photocopies and flyers and DVDs and so on. And so we were polite Canadians getting along with each other, getting along with other polite Canadians who wanted to get along with us, and any idiots that got too worked up and bothered us and made a big stink and made everyone uncomfortable for no reason, very rare at the time, were just idiots who looked worse than the rest of us. And there was also lots of people walking by on a nice day, casually noticing what we were doing, and what they didn't want anything to do with us. We didn't bother them. it was fine. So we weren't like yelling, screaming, getting everyone's attention. We were just at a table with some signs around the table, maybe some t-shirts and whatnot, and some little boxes with posters and flyers and DVDs that we handed out, right? And we did such a good job, we were even covered by the CBC News, called pressfortruth.ca, and Dan Dix, who's still active at pressfortruth.ca. A CBC producer called him, asked if they could come talk to us. I, as one of the leaders of the group, made sure we focused on the vaccines issue, which was hot in the news at the time. And the media often can't cover certain topics or people questioning certain mainstream ideas. But what they can cover is Canadians and people in general doing a good job that other Canadians certify. So the media will cover a bunch of people who are talking about something that they normally wouldn't talk about, because they're covering that group of people, that group of Canadians, that group of Americans, that group of French or British or whoever. They can cover that. So they're not sticking their neck out like, well, I believe that we should question vaccines. They're like, no, there's this group of Canadians, 15, 20 of them every Saturday, that are handing out information on that and vaccine exemption forms. They've been there for weeks. People seem fine with it. People are coming up and engaging with them. They're friendly. Other Canadians are friendly. So we'll send a news crew down to cover them. And they covered us for a couple of hours. They filmed us for a couple of hours. They talked to a lot of people walking by to figure out how people felt about us being there and the issues in general. And then they filmed our table and they interviewed me for 10 minutes. And we made a small part of like a 2-minute, 2.5-minute story that was on CBC's The National that day. So I compare this, and I compare these efforts in meetings and meet and greet tables and posters and flyers and so on, to some of the other people who've inspired me to do this video, including people in the online information war, like Dan Dix and pressfortruth.ca, like Faith Goldy at faithgoldy.ca, like Rance Derrick, like Michael Arana at Arana Nation, like Kevin J. Johnston, like many, many other online Canadian patriots, and many others out there. And there are many great online patriots, and they are doing a great job, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. I've benefited from them, or I wouldn't be here making this video talking to you. However, we've got to think practically. Online information is getting more censored. So what is the answer? We splinter off into little digital ghettos. YouTube censors, so fine, let's go to BitChute. So BitChute does what? BitChute talks to other people that don't like YouTube censorship. So it's mostly people that are already red-pilled to some degree, as opposed to reaching out to new people who could benefit from some of these ideas and this information, right? And this keeps going. So BitChute, Minds.com, BitTube.com, blah, 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 all these other things. Or you don't like Twitter, Twitter censored? Okay, go to Gab. What happens on Gab? Often talking to a bunch of other like-minded people as opposed to connecting with others. And I think long-term, this could be part of the globalist agenda and plan, because they don't work in the globalist super-rich people trying to destroy and weaken countries and people to centrally control them with international institutions. They, like a lot of corporations and a lot of other, business types and super successful ones, they don't plan for that quarter or that day or that week or that quarter. They plan in 5, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 50-year increments to see, well, this is where we are now, and if we do this, this is where our organization should be in terms of money or power or control in 20 years. And so if you look at their long-term planning when it comes to how to control us, this could be part of their plan, where they say, no problem, right? We're going to turn most people into rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, commie zombies who make everyone put up with and act like them, where you got to be super red-pilled online, and I know what I'm doing, and it's crazy, we've got to save this country, we've got to do something about our borders, our economy, Justin Trudeau's selling us out, and then offline, hey, how's it going? Yeah, put up with me. Oh, yeah, no, put up with me, no, put up with me, yeah, put up with me, I got to be a rude, sketchy, bitchy mess too, yeah, no, I know how it is, yeah, okay, run away from each other, bother other people, right, that you have to do offline, right? So as part of their calculations, they might be saying, so who cares? A small percentage of people talk to each other about the same things. The rest of them turn to commie zombies who don't let them talk offline, and we win, right? And you got to think, there's maybe 50 prominent Canadian patriots, right? 50 prominent Canadian patriots. You can probably name them if you tried to name them. Even if you are a patriot, you might be in your YouTube channel, in your description. There might be 50 prominent Canadian patriots. And they might be talking to 500,000 or maybe at most 5 million, but probably not 5 million, but 500,000 or a million or maybe 5 million at the most people of like minds, right? That may not be enough to save a country of 35 million people, to make sure everybody is informed and empowered, make sure, number one, they're polite, and it's normal to be polite where they live, so they can talk to each other about what's going on, whether it's fun or serious stuff, inform and empower each other and evolve each other's opinions, not just get the CBC, Communist Broadcasting Corporation or Carefully Boring Canadians Corporation, talking points and know what everyone has to say. When online, a lot of people know that this is BS, but offline, because of how they act, not polite, don't respect each other, don't make anybody any more uncomfortable, you'll get more bitchy blowback, just kind of stick to the basic talking points, can't say anything different, too scary, can't say anything the same, it's kind of boring, so don't talk, right? Instead of that kind of crap going on, you can make sure that people are polite where you live, and it's normal to be polite and respect each other like nice ladies and gents. Most people straight, great at it. LGBTQ can be too, so there are standard ways of being nice, European manners and standards, and people who don't do that, who are, lying, bitchy, passive-aggressive cry bullies, they're jerks, and you don't take them seriously. You minimize your involvement with them. You push back against what they're doing so they do it less or they stop doing it, and then they can be nice to people, nice to them, and they can show and get more respect for that. So 98% of people straight, great at it, make sure everyone's polite, and then others, LGBTQ, whatever, can also be good at it too, and everyone gets along. And you're either a nice person who's different, or you're a not nice person who's different, who shouldn't get any respect for it and shouldn't screw up others. This is crucially important because, like I said, 50 prominent Canadian patriots dealing with 500,000 or even 5 million people in Canada, mostly online, talking to each other, may not be enough to help swing the October 2019 election, right? Although it does kind of get out there. It does leak out there to other people, and it does, whatever. But there are more effective ways to make sure we win, as opposed to hope that, we can incrementally fight against the censorship, incrementally crushing us, right? Or even in the U.S., for example, 500 prominent patriots there speaking to 50 million people, right? There's 350 million people in the U.S., so that may not work to deal with people when offline we're being turned into a different species that can't respect each other and communicate. Even if we're super passionate about stuff online, we can't respect each other and communicate about it offline, and that's causing some problems. So this gets me to the offline information war, right? What seems to be happening right now is the globalist super rich people, they're putting the matrix into us before they put us into the matrix, right? This is the classic 1999 Keanu Reeves movie where the term red pill came from. Take the red pill, wake up, take the blue pill, stay asleep, and so on, right? And what they're doing is they're turning us into creatures that are all the same, that can't respect each other, that would rather look at our phones than look at each other because we make each other uncomfortable, because political correctness causes trouble talking, so then people kind of, it's sketchy to compensate. Yeah, you know how it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Here, wipe my nose. Here, touch my hair. Yeah, shove something in my mouth. Oops, awkward. Ooh, awkward. Weird, right? And then that sketchiness makes it harder to talk, so then you act sketchy more. And so it's political correctness causes social constipation and gender neutralization, so there aren't guys who are straight up, don't lie, look a man in the eye, firm handshake, straight. You got to be straight, but you got to be straight up. You got to be cool. It can't be big, strong guys making each other uncomfortable. So what are you looking at? Not why aren't you looking at me? And then stay polite and busy or friendly to be respected. out of the way and on your way. Give each other some space. Don't be like, oh, that guy's cool. I'll try and steal his mojo like a lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly, pretending wife or girlfriend. Yeah, steal his mojo. How'd you get to be so cool? Hey, put up with me being a mess. You seem like a cool guy. I like what you say. I like how you act. I like how you talk. Okay, fine. You're busting my balls. Pretend bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriend. So what am I supposed to do? Well, I like sketchy back and forth with you. And then people turn each other into zombies that way, right? And then they look for other nice, happy people who can talk to attack to turn them into zombies offline. So instead of that, guys can be polite and stay busy or friendly to be respected, out of the way and on their way. And they can have confident masculine strength, meet and confirm the same. And then with women and children, when they see that, they can share confident feminine and child vulnerability, especially feminine vulnerability, where they can be like, oh, you big, strong boys, here, let me be a nice, sweet girl. Isn't that so cute? You're working hard at being big, strong boys. Let me be a nice girl. And then you can be like, oh, hey, nice girl. We'll take a break from being big, strong boys, and we'll be nicer to a nice girl as part of that double standard. You deserve it as a nice girl with nice guys. Nice guys deserve it if they're nice guys with nice girls. And then people can generally be nice to each other. Now, that's the backdrop for talking about whatever you want. So male and female patriots and other fans out there can talk about whatever. But your body language, the way you carry yourselves, how you have self-respect and how you show and get it will determine your ability to discuss fun or serious stuff. So even with patriotic girls, it's the same thing. It's like, well, would you rather be with badass dudes? Would you rather see and be badass dudes and fine ass chicks, right? So that we are cool and we're nice to each other and we're valued for, being cool and being fine and being cool and being nice and sweet. And then from there, once we establish our ability to respect each other, we can get into X, Y, and Z, or we can get the hell out of it if that seems appropriate. Would you rather that? Or would you rather we're all the same? Yeah, we're all the same. We're all tough guys, or we're all kind of girls, or we're all half and halves, right? That's the thing. And so regardless, whether you're a hot girl who's dancing for money, or you're a hot girl who's a NASA rocket scientist or brain surgeon, you're still probably going to want the feminine side of you to be appreciated on some level. And when you're a hot guy who's dancing for money, or you're a hot guy who's a NASA rocket scientist or brain surgeon, you're probably still going to want the masculine strength and the masculine, confidence that you have to be respected in some fashion when it comes to other guys and women and children. That's under attack to take us out offline, and online is being attacked. So that's why the offline information war is so important. So during this Raptors playoff season, we can flex with the offline information war. And instead of putting the matrix in us by getting us all addicted to social media, turning us all into corporate clones or commie zombies, and then shoving us deeper and deeper into the matrix where we want to spend more and more time online, watching YouTube and other videos, playing video games, watching others, paying money to watch others play video games, deciding to just live in a video game, at some point, we can do better than that. And for patriots out there who don't know, this seems to be part of UN Agenda 21, or now UN Agenda 2030, which is coming up pretty fast, just in the next 10 years or so, where the United Nations has a plan, and this plan is pretty public. You can Google UN Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030, and you can find either their documents and their websites, which you can download and you can see for yourself. They've got their own supposedly good reasons for wanting to do this, even though it's an evil plan. Or you can look up the analysis done by lots of great people talking about UN Agenda 21 and warning us for decades about what it is. But UN Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 is the United Nations plan to use environmental concerns and sustainability concerns like climate change, or we don't have enough resources, or humans are bad for the earth and all that sort of thing. It's the plan for the United Nations to basically steal the planet Earth from us offline, to steal the planet Earth for super rich people who control the United Nations and other international institutions that are violating national sovereignty and that nationalists fight against as part of nationalism versus globalism. So the UN plan and you can even see this reflected in the Odd Simpsons episode where they had a domed city, is to herd us all into compact cities that are carefully managed and controlled and take the rest of the rural area. So, for example, if America is, about, 50%, cities and so on, and 50% rural wilderness, they want to get that to 5 or 10% massive megacities. Like Los Angeles won't be 10 million people, it'll be 100 million people. But it'll be 100 million people squished together in a little city, and the rest of California and the rest of America will be a UN wilderness preserve. Right? It'll be all controlled by the UN. It'll be like, no, we need to shove you all into compact cities and take the rest of this land so the animals can roam free. When in reality, so the super rich people can steal it and find easier ways to control us and possibly kill us off. Or get us in the mood to kill ourselves or jump into the matrix because we think we're bad for the earth, right? As the brainwashing continues, the watermelon green on the outside, red on the inside, aka communists on the inside, greeny environmentalists on the outside, but red communists on the inside, as that kind of takes over. So this is part of that process of putting the matrix in us, getting us all brainwashed and confused and not respecting each other, and then putting us in the matrix where we'd rather live, which is, hey, you want to live in a pod and live in a video game? You love Call of Duty? You love, Fortnite or whatever? Well, it sucks offline and blah, blah, blah. Why don't we just shove you in there and you can live there, right? So part of that plan, and part of the plan of people not respecting each other and being able to communicate well and be nice is part of UN Agenda 21. And by the time we get there, by the time our kids get there, it'll be, no, we're bad for the earth. No, we had it too good. You should have never had a big house. You should have never had a nice car. You should have never had nice clothes. You should have never had nice stuff, because it's all killing the earth and killing the environment and killing the animals, and we need to use less and do less, and everybody should ride a bicycle and live in a little mud hut like in rural China, while the super rich people should manage the earth for us so it's safe for the animals and it's not destroyed by a lack of resources or climate change or man-made activity or the middle class having it good, right? So this is part of that process, and so we need to fight offline to make sure that we can beat this process and not be herded into compact cities. And as I said, while people are interested in stuff, whether it was the H1N1 pandemic or whatever, lots of people are coming up to us. Hey, the TV is saying worry about this or think about this. What are you guys saying about it, right? That's the only time that they'd be interested in that, in vaccines and vaccine information and vaccine exemption forms, is when the media is making them interested. Otherwise, most people would be like, you people are weird. What are you doing? What are you doing out there? What are you doing, handing out information on vaccines? You're an anti-vaxxer. You're a weirdo. You're a freak. You're this. You're that, right? But when the media is getting people hyped up about something, then you can connect with them with alternative information that they will consume. CBC TV says this, so these people say this, right? And that's with meetings, meet and greet tables, magazines, posters, flyers, and more. And I'll show you some of those in a second. But this is also true during the G20 martial law, the G20 summit in Toronto in 2010. While we were encouraged, often by sort of corrupted leaders or sold out leaders or intelligence agencies infiltrating black bloc groups or Antifa groups or other groups, we were encouraged to sort of just go to a protest. And at a protest, it's often, we think this sucks, or if it's two different groups, we think you suck, or we think you suck, no, we think you suck, we think. So it's these groups yelling at each other or yelling at the man or the establishment, or a bunch of, rich people behind some barricades having a big meeting. And then the protesters are typically invited to a fight with the cops. Cops beat them up. They put it on TV. Everybody hates the protesters and the protest. Everybody hates the cops. Everybody thinks everybody involved is a jerk. And all the rich people kind of get away with it. right? So that's the reason why the protest model is not as effective as the offline information war model, where you inform and empower people offline based on their interests, either what is affecting them, what they are concerned about, like being nice, polite Canadians, or what the media is making hot at the time, like, for example, the Raptors right now. And you can say, hey, here's a flyer, go Raptors, this is great. We're so excited for the Raptors. And by the way, we also want to make sure we can be polite Canadians who can communicate well about the October 2019 election. So think about it, and so we can teach kids to be, and check out this website. Right? And give them a short little flyer. And people be like, yeah, go Raptors. I love the Raptors. Anything about the Raptors I want to see. Anything on TV, anything in front of me. It's like, oh, here, take this. It's like, oh, cool. Raptors fans, go Raptors, great. Nice, polite Canadians. Yep, I like that too. And, oh yeah, the election's coming up. We should talk about that. If we were nice, we could. That all makes sense. Like the Raptors, great. Like nice, polite Canadians, great. We should be nice to each other and be able to talk about something important that comes up, whether it's fun or serious stuff. And, yeah, cool. I like it, right? So this is how Raptors fans and Patriots can work together to save polite Canadians who save Canada. Now, I'll give you an idea of some of the things that we did at Toronto Truth Seekers as I look into my an old bag I have full of some flyers here. You can use small ones like this. Don't get shot. Right? This is just a little 1-inch by, say, 3-inch piece of paper. So it's not too much to take. It's not too much to carry. You can say, hey, if you like it, enjoy. Share. Pass it on. If you don't, throw it out. Who cares? Black and white doesn't cost that much. These are probably about maybe 16 to a page in terms of the size. So if you have these little flyers here, right, you can drop them off in mailboxes. You can hand them out to people. You can put them on car windshields and so on. You can post them up places in legal, lawful ways. And people won't mind so much, right? If you seem to be a nice person, trying to do the right thing and trying to help people, that it's not so bad. Very, very well received back then. I got a little upset, not so much at people, but at the idea that people couldn't handle this at times, right? I'd get, especially because guys, because I'm a man's man, right? Guys are supposed to do stuff, right? Guys are supposed to blah, blah. I don't like putting pressure on girls. I just be nice. And I love it when they put pressure on themselves to be nice, and I get a nice girl to deal with. Good enough, right? With guys, it's a little different. Guys need to, take on more pressure because they're taking on less than they need. Women are taking on more than they need, and it's kind of screwing them up as part of the globalist brainwashing, right? But, if me and my colleagues were at our Toronto Truth Seekers table at Yonge and Dundas Square in 2009, and 15, 20 of us there, and we're all average height, average weight, average build, or whatever. And there's people, we don't want to bother anybody, so we're not chasing people around or chasing people down, but we're making a presence there. We're polite Canadians who care about where we live and people there. And so some people come up to us and engage, and they agree, they disagree, they take some information, they have some information they want to discuss, and so on, right? And I'd get a guy who was like, 6'3", 220 pounds, just a big muscly guy, just typical big white guy, black guy, whatever, nearby, just kind of looking at us, not saying anything, not coming towards us, right? Not just minding his business, but just kind of looking at us curiously, right? And so I might go over, and I'd be like, hey, here you go, man. I saw you staring at us at our table. Here's a little piece of paper. You like it, enjoy. You don't like it, throw it out. And I'd be like, oh, no thanks. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be not cool. I don't want to think in ways that are different. I don't want to be a weirdo. I don't want people to not like me. And I'd just be like, all right, cool. I don't want to bother them, right? But I just turn around and be like, God damn it. What the hell is this? Right? What the hell happened to that guy? It's a 6'3", 220-pound Canadian man afraid of a little 1 by 3-inch piece of paper. Right? If, again, you like it, enjoy it, pass it on. If you'd like. You don't, throw it out. Something stupid. Well, this guy gave me a thing saying, don't get shot. I read it. Garbage. Throw it away. There's lots of garbage out there, you'll see. There's garbage out there. This thing's here. There's a stupid flyer. Just throw it out. Right? Who cares? Right? Who cares? But people were scared of it even back then, and it's only gotten worse since. So But this is an example. You can do this with Photoshop or with Microsoft Word. I like Photoshop because Photoshop allows you to manipulate and move images easier than in Word, where it's sticky. Or if you don't have Microsoft Word, you can use OpenOffice, which is a version of Microsoft Word. You can save stuff in Microsoft Word format or in the OpenOffice format, and it's very, very similar. It basically does everything that Microsoft Office does, right? So Microsoft Office with PowerPoint and with MS Word, OpenOffice and other open source software does the same thing for Windows or Mac or Ubuntu, or one of the other, platforms. Here's another example. Don't Get Shot. It's a bit faded, but you can see there's a baby there, and don't get shot. And it's got 10 points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 bullet points, nothing on the back. And again, this is half an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You print these for 8 cents, 10 cents each. You leave them places or whatever. You can do quarter-page flyers, like this one for Into the Fire. This is a Press for Truth film about G20 martial law. And this is by pressfortruth.ca. This is to advertise a screening at the Bloor Cinema in 2011 when this came out. So again, a little black and white piece of paper. This was about the G20 summit in 2010 in Toronto, where they built a giant wall. They brought in 20,000 cops. They invited a bunch of protesters to get beat up by the cops. The cops were ordered to kettle the protesters, and some cop cars were set on fire, and it was all on TV, and everybody hated the protesters and the cops and the fact this happened, and nobody gave a crap about the G20 summit of 20 of the most powerful countries in the world and what they were talking about when it comes to determining our future. And so Dan Dix and Stephen Davies and Brian Law made an excellent film called Into the Fire, documenting a lot of this happening at the time. And here's another example, right? And again, hand these out, leave these places. I've done this myself with colleagues, back in the day, where you can go to a restaurant, a shawarma place, or whatever, a coffee shop. You say, hey, can I leave a little stack of these here? Oh, sure, no problem. What is it? Oh, it's a screening coming up on April 2011, or it's something about this, and it's not too much. And it's like, oh, sure, just leave them on the counter over there. If you're a nice, polite Canadian, and you seem to be cool, they'll often let you do that. If you're allowed to, great. If not, whatever. Or you can leave these in your local entertainment magazine. In Toronto, we've got Now magazine, for example, which is a little bit left-wing political, but is also about food and arts and culture and where to eat and what music's playing or what plays to see or what books to read. And you can slip this into there, so they open it and they go, oh, okay, I saw this too, right? That's an example. I've got some ones that I had before the G20 protest. What will people in Toronto do before the G20? TorontoTruthSeekers.com. I was handing these out when we were there. G20 summit versus nuclear war. A little dramatic. The super rich people probably won't want to blow up all the stuff they own or they want to control and so on, but it is possible, based on what we know, and there's a bunch of reasons to take this sort of thing seriously. But what will people do before the G20 summit? So will people inform and empower each other with respect to why this big summit is taking place, or will they just go to a protest and blow off some steam and yell at people behind a big barricade who aren't paying any attention to you while a bunch of cops have to go hold their ears until they're ordered to beat you up? Is that something, right? Screw the $1 billion G20 protest. Who wants to yell at a fence and go home? Montreal and Vancouver don't use fluoride. Do they know something we should? Fluoridealert.org, whatyouwantabelieveit.com. This is another project, right? Trying to stop G20 martial law, where I was like, screw this crap. Because I knew what would happen, right? It always happens, right? So that's why the offline information war is even more important. Canada in 2009, what you need to know, an article from the Financial Times, and now for a world government. Boom. And on the back, some text and so on. Websites. And again, these are things that people liked back then. They took them, they thought it was cool. There's a lot of people that sort of know what's going on and want to learn more and occasionally get some stuff online. So you can reach, it's not just purely red-pilled people that know a ton, and then purely blue-pilled people that have nothing to do with this, and la, 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 no say nothing, blah, blah, blah. You get people that are half and half. They maybe popped a half a red pill, but they got to pop a half a blue pill, or they know a little bit, and they wouldn't mind learning more, but they don't have the time for it or interest, or they don't want to screw up, where they live, how they work, who they're friends with. But those people you can connect with offline. We met a bunch of people that knew a little bit and wanted to know more, or knew more and shared it with us, or, so it was great. The martial lobotomy. Will men speak up in communist Canada? Been on this for a while, as it's been getting worse and worse and worse. G20 martial law is over. Will men make sure this never happens again? Canadian nationalist, patriot, and so on. We're not being cool, we're being castrated. Don't get it confused. Don't make it normal. Talking about, what's happening to us, especially as guys. And again, girls want to, fine. If not, the Women's Auxiliary, great source of inspiration. They love it, we love it. As long as we're nice and polite, and we like ladies and gents who respect each other, then it's all good, right? Even a bunch of Navy SEALs at a bar talking about how they kill people. We're like, we just got back from Afghanistan, we kill people. Oh, here's different ways to kill people. If the cute waitress comes over, I'm just like, hey, lady, we're talking about how to kill people. How's it going? And it's like, you take the edge off. She's like, how's it going, guys? You're big, strong guys. You seem like you're masculine. I'll be a cute, feminine, vulnerable girl. Hope you'll be nicer to me being cute, because your masculine strength triggers my feminine vulnerability. You're good at being men, so I should be good at being women. So then you take the edge off that big, strong man, kill people talk. Here's how we kill people. Oh, we're doing much better now that you're here, honey. Oh, you boys are so sweet. Where are you from? Oh, we just got back from Afghanistan. Oh, my goodness. Wow, are you okay? Yeah, we're fine, honey. We just had some work to do. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so what are you having? Well, we'll take a couple of pitchers of beer. We'll take a pound of wings. Okay, I'll be right back. Shakes her bum, goes away. Guy's like, hee. Cute girl likes us. Cute girl goes, hee. Liked by a cute girl. Those cute guys like me. They think I'm a cute girl. And they go back to talking about, fighting in Afghanistan. There's lots of ways to kill a guy. If I'm out of weapons, I keep my fingernails just 2 millimeters long, that I can slice somebody's eyeball, right? And get back into it, right? And all of that is being attacked, where guys are encouraged to be more like women, women are encouraged to be more like men, and this makes us less able to respect and empower each other and less able to communicate well offline in particular, and that's part of what we've got to fight by trying to fight to be polite where we live offline. Here's another example of a more complicated flyer. Your New World Orders are no good for you. There you go, and it's got... This is a full 8.5 by 11 pages. There is some carefully laid out information there and websites, and Connie Fogel, leader of the Canadian Action Party, and Ron Paul, American Patriot, as well. And there's the back, done in Photoshop, or no, not Photoshop, done with PowerPoint, with a bunch of images, Endgame, Matrix, Time Magazine, Idiocracy. And so you can make this fun, right? And so, those are some of the ideas of having all of Canada super interested in the Raptors right now and saying, no, go Raptors. I'm not like sports sucks, bread and circuses, you're all stupid, you all suck. It's like, no. It is good entertainment. I'm a patriot, and I'll co-sign. The NBA is awesome. They do a great job of selling it to us, right? And these days, where you're not supposed to talk about anything, because you're not supposed to get political, and then they make everything political, so you're not supposed to say shit about shit. Sports is one of those things where, especially as men, you can talk like you have balls. Some of the guys we talk, and you can be wrong. You can be right, you can be wrong, you can agree, you can disagree. So even when talking with family and friends myself, I'm like, you know what? Okay, what about this? What about, what about Trudeau? What about this? What about the kids? What am I supposed to say? What about the sports? What about the Raptors? Oh, the Raptors. Oh, my God. They're having a great season, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely. Man, I hope Kyle Lowry does well in the playoffs. Yeah, me too. Man, wasn't it amazing? You can just go. Because you're culturally encouraged to, especially as men. You know, you can have Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith on NBA on TNT, world famous program that's loved by everybody, busting each other's balls every week in fun, masculine, humorous ways, making fun of each other, taking the piss out of each other, acting like ballsy dudes who are busting each other's balls to make sure they have them and having a good time doing so, not taking themselves so seriously, and who are speaking with balls about basketball, and whether they're right or they're wrong, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, not like you're like, oh, you're so stupid, I should never trust you again. Oh, you saw that on the internet somewhere. Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, it's none of that crap, right? So sports and basketball, people are encouraged to sort of speak more freely and articulately about that. So I wouldn't say that it isn't bread and circuses meant to distract us. It certainly is. But it is delicious bread and it is fun circuses. And so you should respect the fact that people enjoy it. And then as part of that enjoyment, you should say, look, we're all uniting around these mostly American basketball players playing for a Canadian city, Toronto, with the Raptors, right? And we're all uniting and getting together around how well they might do, how good that makes many of us feel, and how good that's supposed to make most of us feel, so most of us might as well get involved. It's a good time to party, a good time to celebrate, a good time to connect with each other. Fair enough. We can add a slice of polite Canadians to that to make sure that we can all be polite, and we make that a super important thing. Anybody against that? No? Good. Great. And then as part of that, we can deal with fun and serious stuff, like the fun, Raptors, and so on, and you know, other things, food, you know, music, so on, entertainment, whatever, relationships, whatever. And serious stuff like the October 2019 election. You know, should we make sure we're cool people so we can talk about that too, right? Is that a reasonable request? If we can unite around the Toronto Raptors basketball franchise, possibly winning an NBA championship, can we unite around being world famous, nice, polite Canadians who look, talk, and feel great and teach kids to, who respect each other and communicate well about everything, and are a role model for the entire world, regardless of our background, race, you know, color, gender, ethnicity, religion, whatever. We're all polite Canadians. Can we unite around that too? Okay, great. And then can we unite around, you know, discussing some of the best things to make better people and a better place to live? Is that not something we can also unite around, right? So you can connect these things in a variety of ways, online, of course, and offline. And I've explained some of the pros and cons of online and some of the pros and cons of offline, right? The pros are you'll get it out there and you'll be inspiring people where you live, and you can do it cost effectively, and you can connect with people, and you can help people kind of think about these issues. You can be a presence out there in the real world, getting people, getting their brains churning, getting them going, well, those people are taking it pretty seriously. I never want to think about it, but you know, they're not just evil protesters who are going out there making a big racket and bothering people or whatever. They're polite, patriotic Canadians, right? Or wherever you live, who are who are sharing information that they think can help people. And if you like it, great, enjoy, take some, discuss if you want, pass it on. If it's stupid, throw it away or tell us why it's stupid so we stop and we change and evolve our opinions. And if you don't, they don't want to bother you because they're nice, polite Canadians who don't want to bother each other as role models for the rest. So this is something that I think we can accomplish and something that I hope people consider. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point, and if you want, I'm happy to discuss options with people or work with people on this sort of thing. But otherwise, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. Feel free to comment, subscribe, get in touch, or donate to the manforwars.com efforts. You can see the links below. And for the record, go Raptors, and I hope everybody's enjoying how well they're doing, and I hope they do really well and win the NBA championship. Go polite Patriots. Hopefully we can respect each other and communicate well and help everyone else do the same. And go Canada. Hopefully we can make this a great place to live, and we can all enjoy doing that as part of this process. So there you have it. BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.